Hello guys, I'm Kiri, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about Bugatti Type 13, or better known as a Bugatti Brescia. And we have here in front of us today not one, but 9 Bugatti cars under the same roof. We're gonna find out why it's called in Brescia, and what are the most interesting facts about this very prestigious and maybe the first proper winning racing car. The reputation of Bugatti cars today is well known, but everything starts from over 100 years ago, when Ettore Bugatti, the founder of the company, decided to build new 4-cylinder small engine. Of course, he was looking for more power and came with the idea: 4 valves per cylinder. After he made the engine with 16 valves in total, which actually was based on the previous 4-cylinder 8-valve engine, he put the engine on a lightweight chassis and was very fast. Later on, after the World War I, he moved from Italy to Mulsanne in France, where he based his business. The world started to move up after the war, and in about 1920, Ettore Bugatti went to race in Le Mans, the most prestigious car race on that time, maybe still today. Not only he went there, but he won the race with the same small 4-cylinder 16-valve engine. The average speed was unseen up to this moment, 57 miles per hour or over 86 kilometers per hour. And the car was much faster than the big engined cars. But then, next year in 1921, Ettore Bugatti went to Italy to race at Brescia with 5 cars. And guess what's happened? Not only Bugatti car won the race, but 4 of the 5 cars finished at first, second, third and fourth place. And because of this phenomenal success, everyone was very impressed and they start to call the model Brescia. From that moment, the reputation of Bugatti cars went rapidly up. And by all experts, the Bugatti Type 13 is considered as the first true Bugatti car. The chassis Type 13 was first built in 1910 as the evolution of the previous Bugatti Type 10. But then, how is it, because of the World War I was a little gap, so later he optimized the 4-cylinder engine from 1.35 to 1.5 liter and 16 valves head, and he placed onto the 13 chassis, Type 13 chassis, and on the end Bugatti Brescia was built from 1920 to 1926, and just over 2,000 cars were built. Was the most prestigious sports car back then, and the most successful race car on that time. Then, this heritage was transferred to Bugatti Type 35 from 1920s, 1930s, a car that would later become the most successful race car in the world of all time, with over 2,000 victories in different races. But let's go back to Bugatti Brescia, because Bugatti Brescia was unbeatable on the track. But thanks not only to the 30 horsepower 16 valves 1.5 liter engine, but because it was very light, just over 300 kilograms, and amazing for the time handling, because of the smart suspension and the reliability. Was very fast, over 125 kilometers per hour or near 80 miles per hour. The engine was fed by dual Zenith carburetors, the best on the time. The chassis was on leaf springs all around, with the wheelbase exactly 2 meters. There were another Bugatti cars based on the Type 13 chassis, for example Bugatti Type 15 with long wheelbase, 2.4 meters. And then Bugatti Type 17 with even longer wheelbase, 2 meter 550 millimeters, 22, 23 as well, with some different bodies and shapes, but again the base was Bugatti Type 13. But not all of the Bugatti Type 13 were made to race. So the normal road versions are more heavier. Also on that time was practiced to buy only chassis and engine. Then by your choice you put the body you want. Some of them are over 450 kilograms. Ettore Bugatti improved as well the racing cars. From the 1.5 liter, exactly 1453 cc engine, he extracted near 50 horsepower, which was enough for the car to reach 150 km per hour or 95 miles per hour on the end. 2 sparks per cylinder were used, 2 Bosch magnetos, and the engine was very happy even at the maximum 4500 RPM. Was very reliable and very nimble, very fast not only on the straight line but at the corners as well. Some of the rival race cars were using wooden wheels, but Ettore Bugatti was a little bit more smart and he used a lightweight wire spoked wheels to reduce not only the mass but to make the car much more easy to drive. After the first win in 1920 at Le Mans in France, then in September 1921 at Brescia, Italy, the car became synonymous of winning car. The cars won almost every race they entered. Bugatti Type 13 with the 16-valve engine was the most popular of all Type 13 cars, and they sold 711 race cars of this type, and then they sold 388 with the normal 4-cylinder engine. But how we said early, from all Type 13 types, Bugatti Type 13 including Type 15, 17, 22, 23, Bugatti sold over 2000 units. But probably these numbers are not proved, even from the Bugatti factory. They are not proved because by different sources we find different numbers. For example, the early Bugatti Type 13s with the 8-valve engine from 1910 to 1919, they make, by some sources, 435 cars, and then from the 16-valve engine from 1920 to 1926 they make over 2000 cars. But anyway, it was very successful sports car, and actually the most successful sports car for the period 1920-1926. But in 1925 Bugatti started to work on the new model Type 35 we said early, which will be the next Holy Grail. But this is gonna be for the next video. But not everything was perfect with these cars. For example, the noisy gear changing, brakes only on the rear wheels. But Bugatti answered to the critics with if your engine running as it should, the roar of the exhaust will smooth any gear hump there may be. And about the brakes, the answer was, instead to press the brakes you should press the gas. And actually the real driver should need no brakes. So this was the answers of Ettore Bugatti to the guys who said, oh, you need to improve your car, doesn't have brakes on the front wheels, or the gear changing is a little bit noisy. So Bugatti always knows what to answer, and was really very cool car. But the last few years production was much improved with proper electric equipment, excellent 4-wheel brakes on the end. He made the brakes on the front wheel and some engine modifications. In terms of production, Bugatti Brescia is the most successful Bugatti car up to today, with more than 2000 being made, we said early, between 1920 and 1926. The engine on the earlier Brescias from 1920 to 1924 was with a single magneto, but then from 1925 to 1926 the Brescia was modified to twin magnetos to improve the engine, of course. But not only this, as well the crankshaft was improved, the lubrication system, the compression was moved up to 5.8 to 1, and the power, of course, went up to 48 horsepower, which set early near 50 horsepower. Very good examples, very near to original condition, can reach today €1 million. We said very near original because it's really very hard, almost impossible to find a 100% original Brescia car, because they're 100 years old and they've been used properly in any roads, in any conditions. And then the World War II, and after the war, actually, these old cars were, they haven't been that valuable. Different things were valuable on that time. Even some of the Brescia parts after the war being used as a farmer's trolley or anything in the farm, like the example from a few months ago in Germany. I think someone find in a barn a Brescia axle. So actually this is good thing. Now someone is gonna use this part for restoring, or actually to make from parts another Bugatti Brescia, and always is good one more Bugatti Brescia to have in existence, is because they are really amazing cars. So very cool car, very interesting car, one of the first proper winning racing car. Absolutely fantastic. And these cars today, they are very valuable, how we said. And some of the cars, even this car what you see here in front of us, is 100% restored. So this car is fully restored. It's very beautiful. How you can see the steering wheel, this is with twin magnetos, how you can see in the middle of the dashboard. The seats in the interior, outside, everything being absolutely nut and bolt restored. So the car is really very beautiful. The radiator, you can see the horseshoe, the shape of the radiator of this Bugatti Brescias is just phenomenal, with the emblem you can see here, Bugatti Brescia, is absolutely fantastic. But some of the cars here in front of us today, they are not restored or just slightly restored, like this example. And maybe this is better, to keep the car as much as original, because once you restore totally the car, it's losing from the originality. Anyway, you can see here the emblem on the top of the grille. Of course, you can see here the car is maybe original, this part of the car. So, but probably it's not 100% original, because it's 100 years old. So inside the interior, this is twin magnetos as well, example. And they're very nice, cool clocks inside. The indicators, they're fantastic. 2 seats, and with 2 bags even on the back of the car. And the car is very beautiful, actually, very pretty from any angle. But this originality, the originality of these cars, is something very cool and amazing. And we have here another restored example. But I'm saying I prefer not restored cars than the fully restored. But anyway, this is very pretty, very cool, and it's amazing, and it's exactly how the car should look in 1920s, so from more than 100 years ago. And I'm very happy to have some books of Bugatti, and I'm just enjoying to learn some information about these cars. And yeah, it's very cool, absolutely cool. So guys, I hope you liked the video about these very cool 100 years old Bugatti cars. If you like, please subscribe my channel, and see you next time, guys. Bye.